CBSE Biology Class 10 Chapter 15 Our Environment Part 1b. Let us learn the biology chapters through questions and answers which most of the students prefer. Note that PG here is for page, PR for paragraph in your textbook. Questions are in yellow color, answers are in white color. What are the consumers? Organisms depend on the producers either directly or indirectly for their sustenance. These organisms which consume the food produced either directly from producers or indirectly by feeding on other consumers are called the consumers. Consumers can be classed variously as herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, and parasites. What are the decomposers? Imagine the situation where you do not clean the aquarium and some fish and plants have died. Have you ever thought what happens when an organism dies? The microorganisms comprising bacteria and fungi break down the dead remains and waste products of organisms. These microorganisms are the decomposers as they break down the complex organic substances into simple inorganic substances that go into the soil and are used up once more by the plants. What is a food chain? In every ecosystem, there is a natural arrangement of a series of organisms feeding on one another. Such type of series or organisms taking part at various biotic levels form a food chain. Three different examples of food chains are shown in this diagram: forest, grassland, and in a pond. What are the trophic levels? Each step or level of the food chain forms a trophic level. The autotrophs or the producers are at the first trophic level. They fix up the solar energy and make it available for heterotrophs or the consumers. The herbivores or the primary consumers come at the second, small carnivores or the secondary consumers at the third, and large carnivores or the tertiary consumers form the fourth trophic level. How much part of sunlight energy is used by the green plants in terrestrial ecosystem? The green plants in a terrestrial ecosystem capture about 1% of the energy of sunlight that falls on their leaves and convert it into food energy. How much part of energy is made available for the next level of consumers? An average of 10% of the food eaten is turned into its own body and made available for the next level of consumers. Why food chains generally consist of only 3 or 4 steps? Since so little energy is available for the next level of consumers, food chains generally consist of only 3 or 4 steps. The loss of energy at each step is so great that very little usable energy remains after 4 trophic levels. Which trophic level has the greatest number of individuals? There are generally a greater number of individuals at the lower trophic levels of an ecosystem. The greatest number is of the producers. What is food web? The length and complexity of food chains vary greatly. Each organism is generally eaten by two or more other kinds of organisms, which in turn are eaten by several other organisms. So, instead of a straight line food chain, the relationship can be shown as a series of branching lines called a food web. What do we understand from the flow chart diagram? From the energy flow diagram, two things become clear. Firstly, the flow of energy is unidirectional. The energy that is captured by the autotrophs does not revert back to the solar input, and the energy which passes to the herbivores does not come back to autotrophs. End of this part. Dear students, share your doubts and questions to this email. The email is given below. The question answers of this chapter will be continued in next video.